Hey everybody, this is the Rotary eClub of Silicon Valley. Every week we work to bring you stories of people who are working to make a difference in the world in some fashion. And so we like to bring people from every corner of the planet because it's just a matter of connecting via video conference and just saying, tell us about the good that you're doing. And we love doing that. All the more fun when the person doing the good is one of our members. And today, member Anil Gupta of the Rotary eClub of Silicon Valley is going to tell us a little bit about the work that he does. And so this is more of a conversation today than our typical presentation. But I will start things off with a few questions of Anil myself, and then we will broaden it out to the full group. So with that, Anil, welcome. Thank you very much for being up for presenting to the club.
I'm very excited to share beautiful messages that people can apply immediately in their lives.
Excellent. So in that space, one of the first places I became acquainted with your work was through your TEDx talk.
Mm-hmm.
I'd love for you to start by just kind of describing. I know this is going to be kind of a long answer, but describing the circumstances that led to it and the gist of the story.
So I'll start with 2008. I'd lost everything in the stock market, real estate. I really was in a bad space and I really was on the verge of suicide. And from there, I had some interventions from Tony Robbins, Tony's wife, Tony's brother-in-law, my wife, maybe about 10 or 12 different types of interventions. And from there, I started changing my identity. I started speaking in front of 6, 10, 15, 20 people, eventually in front of 10,000 people in a bull ring in Medellin, Colombia. I wrote a bestseller book, spoke on Fox News, Harvard, did my TEDx, spoken in 18 countries, 8 languages. Richard Branson has been to my seminar. And I realized that the secret to living is giving. So in the moment you give, all the pain and suffering disappeared. And that's what I did. I started to give and I thought, oh, I feel good. What did I do? I started to give. Oh, that's interesting. And then from that, I developed a formula for happiness, which is this: happiness is equal to G cubed. The first G's you have to give: your time, your energy, your love, your commitment, your joy, your gift, your money. Give it away without wanting anything back. The second G is you have to be grateful for what you have and don't focus on what you don't have. A lot of people are thinking, oh, I've lost that. And that's what I was doing. I was thinking, oh, I've lost this, I don't have this. But in fact, I had everything. My wife and kids were the golden goose, so to speak. And the third G is you have to grow emotionally, physically, spiritually, and mentally. That's it. If you do those 3 G's, your life will completely change.
I love the G cubed formula on that. And speaking of what it was that got you to that point, I was especially moved by your story in the talk about the conversation you had with your wife. Can you tell us a little about that?
Yep. So, I thought it's time my wife knew that I'd lost everything. So I went up to the hotel room and said, honey, I have some really bad news. And she said, what is it? So look, I really made a big mistake, a big blunder, and I've lost everything: the house, the cars, the school funds, everything. And she looked up with those big brown eyes and she smiled. I thought, why are you smiling? Did you not hear what I said? She said, honey, I heard what you said. I thought it was something serious. I said, honey, this is serious. What's wrong with you? She said, no, you don't get it. I thought you were dying. You were behaving so strangely. I thought something serious, that to me is serious. I don't care about the money. And I was shocked because I thought that's what she wanted. And, it's ludicrous that I didn't know. And she said, honey, I don't care about the money. As long as I'm with you and the kids are with you, still have us. Wow. Whew.
Yeah.
You still have us. I wasn't even thinking of that. I thought I would be better, they would be better without me. But it's au contraire. That was a big, yeah. And when you have someone like that behind you, you're invincible. Nothing can ever hurt you. Nothing.
Very, very powerful stuff. You think about the It's a Wonderful Life story. I mean, just the different moments in our lives where we see that there is something beyond how how we are currently thinking about the world, and that people have perspectives that can help us go, oh, it's not nearly as bad as I thought. Is that something that you feel like you've become more attuned to over time?
Well, I've made some distinctions, and as human beings, the quality of our life is dependent upon the number of attachments that we have. The more attachments you have in life, the more painful it will be. The more expectations you have of life, the more painful it will be. And also it's forgiveness. The quality of your life is dependent on the depth and authenticity of the forgiveness you extend to yourself and to others. You know, we all beat ourselves up. And I realized that forgiveness is the express pathway to freedom. Sometimes we need to forgive ourselves. And in that moment, I was able to forgive myself. And it's like a huge weight off your shoulder. So there are many distinctions, and if you apply them, the compounding effect of that will cause a massive transformation in how you show up in life.
Well, it certainly starts very quickly, I would think, with a sudden understanding of that role of attachment to frustration, right? And matter of fact, the title of your book, "Immediate Happiness," is one that seems to speak to that. Is that something that that for you, the book itself began to make a difference in how you were able to share your message?
Well, I think that was a precursor, because I never thought I could write a book. And all of a sudden I felt different. I felt, oh, people are listening to me. And it really gives you that boost. It gives you some credibility, and it allows you to get in the door. But the book really was 2013, so many years afterwards. And I was just sitting and thinking. And I realized that I like immediate results. You know, I want something immediate. And I thought, you know, we were never given a manual. So although it's a book, it's really a manual. We were never taught how to respond, communication skills, how to receive, how to give, what to give, when to give, why we react, why we respond, what irritates us, what pushes our buttons, the meaning we put behind things, and you know, the living in the past or living in the future, but not living in that. We never taught these things, and we have to learn from some people who are not really the best people to learn from, our parents and our siblings. So it's really strange. You buy a washing machine, there are instructions. There are no parenting instructions. There are no marriage instructions. You're not qualified to get married. They don't do that. You say, oh, yeah, let's get married. Yeah. So it's so strange.
I'd like to ask you a little more about that. You know, you mentioned that often, you know, your parents, your family are not the best people to learn from. Can you go into a little more detail on that?
Yeah. So your parents have trauma in their lives from their parents. You know, they something happened. They lost a job. They separated. The grandparents were, you know, abusive in some form or other, or weren't the best role models, or whatever. And things happen in life. You know, you lose your job. You know, whatever it is. But we pass on things from our parents, our grandparents, our great grandparents. But life is changing so rapidly that what was good 50 years ago isn't good now. So we have to be innovative. We have to be adaptable. And, you know, I'll give you an example. So a lot of people who are, say, in their 40s are saying to themselves, I went through so much to get to be successful. I do not want my children to go through that. So they will enable their children, which is the worst thing you can do. See, we have to give children adversity. When we were growing up, I'm sure all of us went through adversity. But nowadays, kids don't go through adversity because their parents don't wish it upon them. I do the opposite. I throw adversity at my kids. Because if you do, the ability to handle life will increase substantially. So this is an example of, you know, parenting. And that's not the best example. I was coaching someone the other day and said, I don't know what's going on with my kids. We give them everything. That's your problem.
So in terms of, and I'll ask this question, and then let's introduce the group that we have and open up for everyone's questions. When you talk about like throwing adversity at your children, I'm curious like what an example of that would be and how they respond.
Okay, so my son was 9 and my daughter was 7. And Richard Branson, at the age of 5, he was thrown in the middle of a field and told to get home. And my suggestion to my wife to do that was not taken very seriously or very amicably. So I had to think of something else. I thought, great, what we'll do, we'll take them into central London. We lived in London. We took them into central London and we told them to get home by themselves. That was 18 years ago. And I have no idea where they are. So if you see them, we were 10 feet behind them, but they could not contact us. They cannot look us in the eye. They have to, do whatever they needed to do to get home. And if they made a mistake, then they had to learn, retrace their steps or do something. But we would train them a little bit. And it really helped them. So when my daughter was 18, she went around the world by herself. When my son was 18, he went around the world by themselves. So I know that, they can handle things. They don't need me. But this is a problem parents make. They want to protect their kids, but that's the worst thing you can do. You've got to give them that experience. Then the kids are still protected, but you've given them the gift.
Well said. Speaking of gifts, we've got a number of wonderful people in the recording today, and I want to introduce them and then open up to questions. I'm going to start with how you're appearing on my screen in clockwise order. So Judge Rory in Texas. Rory, good to have you with us. Farheen in Santa Clara here in California. Thank you, not just for the work you do as the membership chair, but also for handling the recording today. Appreciate that. In Salt Lake City, we have Gabby, all right, and Gabby, I'm glad that you're part of this as well. I hope that you will be okay as the snow begins to fall seriously, I think, in the very near future. And then all the way from India, in Delhi, Vandana Agrawal, it is good to have you with us as well. My name is Rushton. I am in San Jose, California. And so what I'd like to do is see if anybody is waving at me for that first question. And Gabby, get us going.
Hi, Anil. It's great to have you with us. Thanks so much for spending time. I have a question from the beginning of, you were talking about when you lost everything and you had this conversation with your wife. And you had this realization that you really hadn't lost everything, right? Like you had everything, you just didn't see it at the beginning. Do you, through your work, and I'm curious to hear from you, do you think that people live lives that they're really living on behalf of somebody else, or they're like somebody wishing upon them and not really paying attention to what they really have? And I think you talked a little bit about attachment, right? Like, so I wanted to hear like your point of view around that in a way.
See, we are not really are not living ourselves. We're so concerned what other people think of us. We're so concerned, are we doing the right thing? If I take my son out of school, what will other people think? Am I doing the right thing? So there's a lot of fear. And, it really starts, when you're a child, you're very self-expressed, everything's great. Then you go to school and you're told to sit down and be quiet. And it's a big shock to the child. And then at that sort of age, before that age, whatever the child does is amazing, it's beautiful. Then around that age, the child does something and all of a sudden it doesn't get love from the parents. And they think, what's going on? What's going on? So then they start thinking, I better do something to get the love. So then it's performance related, it's transactional. So this is the way we grow up. And as human beings, we love to be comfortable, about being comfortable. And the biggest growth is experience when we're uncomfortable. When we're walking, talking at the beginning stages of life, we're very uncomfortable. But what happens is we get comfortable about being comfortable, and we get uncomfortable about being uncomfortable. That's where you get the biggest growth. Whenever life is throwing something at you, whenever you're uncomfortable, you have an opportunity to grow. And that's what people are afraid of. They want certainty, they want safety, they don't want to take risks. But the risk is not taking a risk. I hope that answered your question. Good, fantastic, great question. I loved it. Anyone else have a?
Yeah,
Yes.
Thanks so much for joining us. And again, I was really excited when you joined the eClub, and I'm excited for you to continue imparting your wisdom onto the rest of the members. So my question for you is, and you know, we've met before, we've had conversations before about your journey, but I've heard that you've met some really cool people along the way. Can you tell us about the people that you've met?
Well, actually, it's the other way around. Some really cool people have met me. So the coolest person, I tell you, is my father. Super cool guy. He's 89. He does, until a couple of years ago, would do headstands. He used to walk on his hands. Super cool guy. Yeah, I've had the privilege of meeting amazing people, famous people, not so famous people. And what impresses me about a human being is the impression they leave on other people. People will always remember how you made them feel. I've met some very, very rich people who are real, not nice people. And I've met some very poor people who are amazingly great souls. I've met people like presidents of Armenia, France, Mexico, met the Dalai Lama, Richard Branson, Mike Tyson, all sorts of great human beings, but it doesn't impress me who they are. What impresses me is how they treat other people. How kind are they? How generous are they? Do they listen to you? Do they judge you? Are they concerned about, you know, their status? So really look for the greatness in other people. And that's what I look for. I look for the greatness in other people. And I'm looking for a vibrational energy that says, hey, come sit with me, let's talk.
Great, thanks.
Vandana, I believe you have a question.
Yeah, hello, Anil.
Hi, Vandana, how are you?
Yeah, I'm fine. You had started by saying that you had become suicidal at some point of time. So, what made you do that? And secondly, I am not a psychologist or a psychiatrist, but I have read that, you know, different people behave uh, differently in given situations.
Absolutely.
Like other people in your same situation may not have thought of suicide. So how are you able to, you know, deal with your audience who may be behaving differently in the same situation? Because firstly, the situation themselves, nobody knows. Like say September 11, when it happened, nobody knew that people would be, you know, the rich guys who land up on their office towers in the helicopters would be flying off their offices just to try to save themselves. So those kind of situations nobody knows. So how can you, you know, a person who thinks that I'm a, you know, an instructor, teacher, or a mentor can help my audience deal with those situations which nobody knows will come in their lives?
Great. So great
Dealing
question.
with life is my question. How do you deal with life?
Okay, good. So the secret is this. It's not what happens in life, it's who you become. And it all stems from something which I call the master discipline, which is awareness. Awareness gives you clarity. Clarity gives you focus. Focus gives you action. Action gives you results. Results gives you momentum, which gives you everything. So no matter what circumstance you're in, you have to have awareness. Then you can make an informed decision. See, a lot of people are walking around with no awareness, me included. You know, I have some awareness around some things, but a lot of awareness around a lot of things that I'm just not aware of. So that's the secret. the more aware you are, the more present you are, the more informed responses you can make. So awareness is the master discipline. And from there, you can respond rather than react. And it's who you become in that moment. It's that defining decision. The decisions you make today will determine your destiny. And then one of the things I did once was this. There was a quote from Steve Martin. He said, "Be so good that you cannot be ignored." So I changed it a little bit. I said, why good? Why not amazing? So then I changed it to this: be so amazing that you cannot be ignored. Then I added this: and if you are ignored, it doesn't matter, because how you show up on this planet will be this magnificent soul. Be so amazing that you cannot be ignored completely changed everything for me.
Wonderful. I mean, that seems to sing to what we do as Rotarians as well, right?
Absolutely.
One of my favorite quotes is, "There's no limit to what you can accomplish when it doesn't matter who gets the credit," right?
Yeah.
Gabby, I know you have a question. I'm sorry, I know. Please go.
Yeah, that's right. And then if we look at the attachment, the ego, the expectation, so everything's connected. Everything's connected. Yeah, good. Hi, Gabby.
Hey, I'm me again.
I
think, and it's so good that you just said the attachments. I'm actually reading a book by Jay Shetty right now. So he just released, not long ago, a book, and he's actually talking about attachments, right? Like, and trying to really find what are the things that you're attached to and basically get rid of, especially if it doesn't have meaning for you. And he talks about doing that through meditation. And I find it really hard meditating. So I wanted to hear from you, because you just had, your book around instant happiness. And how do you do that? Or is there a formula to, kind of finding what are the things that you're attached to that, it's quick and easy that I can use it on my day to day?
Okay. So the way to do it is through awareness. So give me an example of something you're attached to.
My job.
Okay. And what is that? How is that hurting you?
It takes a lot of my time.
Yeah. So what's the fear you have around
that? Lots of them, but the biggest one is probably, how do I support my family?
Okay. So this is really great. So you asked a brilliant question. The quality of your life is dependent on the quality questions you ask. How could I, so ask this question, how could I not just support, go towards financial freedom for my family? Ask yourself that question right now. What popped up for you?
Pay my mortgage.
Okay.
That was the initial answer that came to my mind. Get rid of my mortgage.
Okay. How would you do that?
Oh dear, I have to work more.
No. No. You have to work smart. Now, how many kids do you have?
3.
Okay. How old are they?
One is 6, and I have a set of twins. They're going to be 3 years old.
So beautiful.
And so long for me to support them, Anil.
Okay. So if you change your focus, you change your life.
Okay.
Okay. Could you sell one of the kids?
Oh my God, no. I could try to leave them in the middle of London. How about that? Maybe they'll make it home. Not at the 3-year-old mark, I don't think.
See, so can I ask you a question?
Of course, can.
Do you like certainty?
No.
Okay. You love uncertainty then, do you?
I do, yes.
Okay. Then then why are you worried about your job?
I don't think I'm actually too worried about my job. honestly, if I really kind of focus and think about it, it's more really the financial, kind of ability to support the family. It's not really about the job. I know I'll find another one.
Okay, good.
Don't worry about that.
All right. So if, say, for example, you needed an emergency operation for your twins, and it was $100,000.
Yeah.
And they said, look, we'll do it if you can get the money by the end of the month. Would you get the money?
Yes.
Yeah. So did you see that certainty in her face? You see, this is a great one. Are you a great problem solver?
Yes.
Good. That's your problem.
That's my problem. Why?
Okay. So if you're a great problem solver, what are you looking for?
A problem.
Yes. You will always find a problem. But if you spend 1% of your time on the problem and 99% on the solution, then you're a solution person, not a problem solver. Okay, there's a difference. It's a fine distinction, but it's a big distinction. So focus on solutions, not problems. This will give you a big breakthrough, and you could easily get financial freedom. But what is better than financial freedom?
I think the ability to actually enjoy my life on a day-to-day basis, not the financial freedom, is the time that I get back to then focus on doing the things that I enjoy more and more. So
financial freedom is 1% of this other thing, which is freedom. Freedom is your ability to make things happen, to overcome obstacles, to overcome adversity. So if you know that whatever life throws at you, you can handle it, that's freedom. That's way beyond financial freedom, because a lot of people who have financial freedom aren't financially free in their heads because they're fearful. Are you my friend because I have money? Are you this because of this? They don't know. So freedom is your ability to handle any situation that life throws at you, which is the ultimate gift. So you never need to worry about anything that's going to happen to you. So you're in charge.
Thank you.
So I'm going to give you some homework. I want you to find 5 ways to double your income within 12 months. Now, what she's thinking is, how do I do that? And again, when you ask the brain a question, it will always give you an answer. There's always a way. Remember this. There's always a way. And this is a lesson you can teach your children. Explain to them, look, there's always a way. There is no such word as cannot. There's always a way. You must find a way. And if you give them that one gift, they'll be unstoppable. So imagine the twins, are they walking?
Yes.
Okay. Imagine they were trying to walk and they kept on falling down. Did you say to them, no, don't do that. It's too dangerous. Give up. No, they have to do it. So make it a must. Make it a must.
Thank you.
My pleasure.
So those of you who are watching this as a recording will no doubt guess that we are going to continue a very cool discussion after we finish the recording, because that's the perk of joining in on the live feeds, right? Anil, what a wonderful presentation. What a wonderful set of thoughts. What a wonderful thing to have you in the club. It is really a pleasure.
No, I absolutely love it, especially I travel so much. So this is a godsend.
Yeah. For those of you who also travel a lot and maybe miss meetings for your club and are thinking, how can I effectively make up my missed Rotary meetings so that I can keep 100% attendance, because that energizes me every week? Well, you could certainly spend time with us, because you can join us any time of the day or week. The Rotary eClub of Silicon Valley is both online and asynchronous, and in part designed to make it easy for anyone to find inspiration when they need something that gives them a message that lends hope towards a different possibility for the future. So in just a minute, I'll have Anil give us our final word. But before that, we ask that you do two things: that you register your attendance with a little form down below. And those of you looking to make up a missed meeting, by typing in your email address properly, you'll get a reply that you can pass along to your club secretary. And then finally, at the bottom in our discuss section, DISQUS, you will see that our members are leaving messages about this program, about different pieces of the meeting. And we welcome not only your thoughts, but your reactions to others as well. And so we hope that you have gotten lots out of today. And with that, we will put the cherry on top of the dessert with the final comment from Anil. It's yours.
Okay, so I'm going to give you some homework. Today, I would like you to perform 5 random acts of kindness in the next 2 days. And as you perform those acts of kindness, notice how you feel. Because as human beings, we do everything for one reason only. And that's for the feeling it gives us. We have a nice house, a nice car, for the feeling it gives us. So when we exercise this, and it's a muscle, we get stronger, happier, more joyful. We get more energetic, and we make a difference. So 5 random acts of kindness. And if you do that, just post something and just say what you did. It would inspire someone else to do something else.
A better world for sure.